guys. Hey. Good night, everybody. Good night, Asha. Good night, Venetia. Good night, Venetia. Good night, everyone. Come on in. Share the live. So. Hey, Marsha. Good night. All right, so tonight is a big deal. Tonight is absolutely a very big deal. Tonight we'll be speaking to a very tremendous, prolific, phenomenal woman. Her name is Daphne Ellis. She's author of her new book that has been out for a couple of weeks now, called Dancing Among Snakes. Just the title alone, I'm intrigued and I'm very anxious to find out more about, this book. I'm excited to find out more about this book. I am waiting on her to come on so I can add her to the screen. But thank you so much, guys, for joining. I think we're going to be here for about 30 minutes. So I'm begging you some of that time. It's Friday. And I know a lot of you are scared of going outside. Yeah. I know a lot of you are scared, especially those in Jamaica. I know a lot of you are scared about outside. So I don't really want to tarry too long outside, or I just want to stay in and build back and all of that. Probably Netflix and chill. I don't know. But I want you guys to just lend me some of your time for only 30 minutes this evening. So Daphne Ellis, she and I, whether you believe it or not, we are yet to meet face to face. I met her in my travel business that I do, because yes, I'm a travel agent on the side of being a professional international recording artist and philanthropist. Let me see. I think I can go live with you, Daphne. Try that way.
Hi, Jody.
So I was just telling everybody that, we are yet to meet face to face.
I mean,
yeah, and it's like we have known each other, for
so long.
over 10 years.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. It's just really amazing when people heart resembles how much they can just intertwine and, connect in whatever way, and before I introduce you officially again to everybody who is on the live, I just want them to know that you and I could have almost even not speak to each other in terms of conversations that we would have had in the past. And it never come like nothing, because that's what happens when people are at a level of maturity. We don't really, some little things are just petty and trivial. Some things are just misunderstanding. And then at the end of the day, you still have the person for who the person is. So it's really a pleasure having you online, Daphne. This is a live long time coming. Like, we needed this. Yes. We have been waiting on this. We spoke about it before. The time was not then, but the time is now. And I'm so happy that so happy that you are here. I see one person saying they're not hearing clearly. Let me check first with everybody else. Are you hearing me clearly, guys? If you're hearing me clearly, and if you're hearing Daphne, let us know if you are hearing us. So go ahead and type it in the comment section. I'm hearing. Just so we can, okay. Hey, Peter Gay, but bring it. I have to be professional tonight on this live. I'll cuss you out later. But it's good to see you. Sandy says she's hearing us. All right. Loud and clear says lovable 2468. All right. Great. So good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. So on this live, you have author, retired teacher, Miss Daphne Ellis, superb, phenomenal woman with the brains, nonsensical woman, but she's a giver at heart. She's a compassionate person. She's tough under the skin, in the short space of time that I've come to know her. I love the fact that her book title, you know, a lot of us can relate to it, you know, Dancing Among Snakes. Am I correct?
Yes, you are.
Yes. Right. So it's dancing among snakes. A lot of us are dancing among snakes. And, you know, we can look at a perfect example that occurred recently with a 21-year-old girl who never even got to celebrate her birthday because she was dancing among snakes, you know. No real person was there to stop her from drinking herself to death. And when you have a book with this title, it can swing into different directions pertaining to the whole meaning of it. And I think only people who have experiences in life can really put their stories out in a way where other people can relate to it. So Daphne, tonight I want you to tell us, who is Daphne Ellis? Go right ahead.
All right. Thank you again, Jody, and good evening, everyone. All right. I'm an educator of 32 years. I have taught math, English language and English literature, and religious studies, and I'm trained in all disciplines. I have served as classroom teacher, head of department, up to school principal. I am also a trained counseling psychologist, and I have worked with drug addicts, which was a very interesting juncture in my life. And lately, I am now a published author. This book is not my first piece of writing, but it's my first publication. So in a nutshell, that's why I'm from a large family, and I'm Jody's friend.
For sure. For sure. All right. So, you know, I still want to dig a little bit deeper where you are concerned, where your personal space is concerned. You know, before I go into book questions and stuff like that, I want you to tell me what was your life like? You know, where did your life begin from? Because I know you were in Cayman at one point.
Right.
How did the transition come about? Before that transition, what were you doing before you became a teacher and before you added all of these qualifications to you?
Okay. I was born in Clarendon, but grew up most of my life in Manchester. Went to Manchester High School, then Church Teachers College, and then on to postgraduate studies in Kingston, where I did counseling psychology and general studies. I taught here in Jamaica from 1990 to 2005. After that, I went to the Bahamas, where I served for 11 years, and then the Cayman, and I'm back home now. I returned home this June. But my life growing up is what I call simple. I am no means from a very affluent family, but we had a simple life and a family that I enjoyed. I look back at some things that I used to do growing up, and we were poor, but we didn't realize that we were poor because we just enjoyed life. And, you know, we just lived a day at a time. But I had a very supportive family. My father was a preacher. So you know what that means, all right? Very strict upbringing, right? Very strict upbringing. But in our family, there are certain values that were passed on that I think really shaped my life as a person. You just had to respect elders, older people. And in my mother's eyes, they were never wrong, especially your teachers. So don't go home and complain about anybody. Mind you, I didn't agree with them, but that's how they grew us up, right?
Wow.
So you stayed at home. You didn't go around to people's houses like that. You learned household chores. You learned to be respectful. And church was a big thing. They are not going to church and leaving you at home, right?
Right.
And my father, as a preacher, every Sunday morning, we had family devotion, and I used to lead the songs. So
Okay, okay, okay.
I don't
Well, this part is new. This part is new because they never tell me this. Not at
yeah,
all.
I was the
Okay.
and I used to track the songs and that kind of thing, right? So that was my role in our family devotion. So church was a big part of my life. Was very involved in church. I taught Sunday school. I was active in the youth group. I sang on the choir. I led
Right.
cantatas, you name it.
Oh,
So
wow.
I worked with the deaf for 4 years before I went
Right.
on to college, and that is where
Right.
somebody spotted my talent as a teacher because
Right.
I always wanted to be a nurse. But when I was teaching at Danny Williams School for the Deaf, the then I was pre-trained, and the then principal said to me, "Do not come to school tomorrow. I cannot have a bright person like you being in my school who is not trained." So she's the one who encouraged me to go to college, and that was where my educational journey started.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Because I was getting around to ask you, you know, I heard you say something about consultant psychology.
counseling psychology.
Yeah. Counseling psychology. Why did you choose that?
Okay, I have always had a passion for people's pain and people's hurt and so on. Now, when I grew up in church, we were never taught certain things. We were never taught relationships. We were never taught how to just
Right.
self, your emotions, and so on. It's like it's just a Bible, 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 and something
Right.
not supposed to talk about. I remember when I was in youth group, and I genuinely, as a young teenager, you're getting attracted to guys, and you have a lot of questions going on in your mind. And I remember I asked my youth leader at the time, "Is it wrong to kiss?" I was young, probably about 12, 13.
Right.
They wanted to know. And he
Curiosity.
said to me, the Bible says, "Greet your brethren with a holy kiss." I'm like, I know that me talk.
Okay. I don't know if we have learned how to do the holy kiss, but okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That, that is where the urge came and the desire to be able to help young people, to meet them where they are, to be honest and forthright with them, that they are comfortable enough to speak to me. And then you look at so many other challenges. And in addition, I find that in the classroom as a teacher, you learn to teach. You learn, so many things about passing on whatever the content is. But when it comes to human relationships, relating to students, being able to not just hit out at a student because they're acting out or doing something, but probably stepping back and asking yourself, could it be that this child is having a bad day? Could it be
Right.
that it happened at home? And spotting little things that could possibly be the cause of a certain kind of behavior and trying to deal with it in a positive way so that the relationship between you and whoever is involved is enhanced and not destroyed. So I was really, really passionate about
Wow.
and just understanding human relationships.
So I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong. I told everybody, for those who are just joining, I was telling everybody who got here early that Daphne and we have not met face to face. And I felt like I've known her for so many years, and it was her heart that I felt in the first place. And I also said in her introduction that she's a giver. So, giver, based on everything that you're saying, you have to be a giver of yourself, giver from the heart to have even considered to do what you did in the first place. And
Mhm.
I really respect that about you. And what I want you to do right now is go into your book, Dancing Among Snakes. What's the meaning of all of that? Why that title?
All right, the whole book came about accidentally, if I can say it. Last year, no, 1920, is it? No, 21. I
Right.
saw this thing on Facebook about um uh entrepreneurship academy for writers. And
Right.
kind of intrigued, and I kind of just started following it and joined
Right.
the group, pay the subscription and so on. But
Right.
didn't really do anything until one day I said, hold on, why am I paying this subscription and I'm not getting involved in this? So I met
Right.
with the coach and so on, and we started talking, and she asked me why I want to write, and I told her at that point in my life I was experiencing just a lot of challenges and a lot of difficulties, and I was kind of questioning God, how you allowing people to do these kind of things and behaving as if all is well and that kind of thing. So I said to her I wanted to write about purpose, pain in your purpose, and she said, oh, that's such a common title and
Right.
so on, 'cause everybody talks about that. But I still continue to write. And then I remember I had a dream, and you have to buy the book to read about that dream.
Right.
In the dream, someone said to me, you are dancing among snakes.
Wow.
I was able to relate the dancing among snakes to all that was happening in my life
Around you.
that period of time. And it just began a lot of unfolding to the point where one morning I got up to a physical snake in my room. And I
Wow.
explain to this day, and the book will give you all the details. I can't explain to this day how the snake got there. But the whole thing is that snakes symbolize any difficulty, any hardship, any challenge, any tough thing that you're going through. Because the subtitle to the book is Experiencing Victory in Life's Toughest Moments. So
Right.
snake is a symbol of difficulty, hardship, trial, and all of that. And then the dancing is symbolic of the victory that we can experience no matter what we're going through.
Right. Wow. That is so deep. No, this definitely sounds like a book that people should have on their shelves in their homes, because a lot of us are going through difficult situations, and it would be great, hearing from other people, people who have even made it through some of the toughest time. It's good hearing how people made it through some of the toughest time as
Yeah.
well. And I love the fact that you did not choose a title that is oh so known. It is grabbing,
Yeah.
dancing among snakes. Like, yo, this is dancing among snakes. That sounds like something where a whole lot of time and effort and energy went into.
Yeah.
But if you know what I want to ask you, did your life, going as far back as you can before you go into all of these nice things pertaining to teaching and the whole psychology thing and then traveling, would you say things way behind that also inspired this book?
Yes, because initially I wanted to write just about the difficulties I was having at the time. But
Right.
I found that as I wrote, a lot of bitterness was coming out. And that is
Right.
what I wanted. I wanted the book to minister to people, to be a message.
Right.
Anybody
Right.
to be a Christian, anybody who reads this book can realize that one, life will hand us tough moments,
That is
but
so true.
we can be victorious. Because guess what? All of us, Jody, fight in a battle of one sort or the other.
Yes.
All of
Yes.
us trying to, gain
Mm.
victory over difficult situations. So that is the aim of this book. And I found that after I stepped back and realized that, hold on, the aim is not to be bitter here. The aim is to help people. So I was able to push away the bitterness, because
Right.
bitter people pass on the bitterness to other people, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I stepped back and I realized that this is not what I want. So as much as I was able to look at what was happening at the time, but also pull on experiences I had from way back, you know,
Right.
and apply to my life. In fact, my mother, who turned 98 last Tuesday,
Wow.
reading the book, she said to me, she said she cried at one point, and she said the reason she cried is because she looked back at all the different things that I highlighted in this book, different aspects of my life, relationships, on the job, you know, all that kind of thing. And she said, if God wasn't on your side, you would have died a long time ago.
Right.
That
Right.
I know that this
And
book is really potent.
yeah, and I'm glad you said that because I was about to also ask, looking back, if you could go back in time and change anything about your journey, would you?
You know, I wouldn't. You know,
Okay.
I have come to learn. It wasn't always like that, but I have come to a point in my life where if you didn't have a test, as they say, you wouldn't have this testimony.
Yeah.
Many of the things that I have learned have come through difficult experiences. And sometimes you look at what somebody's going through and you say, boy, you don't know how them do it, but that is their battle. But God prepare a path for you, Jody, for me, for you listeners.
Yes.
We have to choose to learn the lessons from them. Listen, life handles some things, it is easy to become bitter. It's
That
easy,
is so true.
but we have to choose. Life is about a choice. And when I look back as a Christian, I know God has ordered my steps. And
Yes.
you look at Joseph in the Bible. Joseph never do nothing. He didn't do anything. And look what his brothers did to him. But
Yes.
what happened?
Oh
So
my God.
Jody, listeners, let me tell you something. I thank God for every trial, for every disappointment, for everything that I've experienced in my life, because I have learned from it. It's like if you learn the first time you cook rice, it probably did too soft or too dry.
That's
But
too dry.
experience, you learn how to cook it properly.
Yes.
And life,
Yes.
we have different experiences and we learn from it. So I thank God for what I have been, the
I
people,
love
the lessons I've learned. I'm grateful.
I love your response. I've heard people answer that question before saying, yes, they would change this, they would change that. But then when I stop to think upon that question, because it has been thrown out to me before, and on two different occasions I answered the question differently. But the second time I realized that no, don't you ever try to go back in your mind to erase anything. Not that it can or will go away. You'll always remember every trials and
Yes,
tribulation that you went through. But most importantly, it was meant to build us and not really break us.
yes,
It probably felt like hell, the worst days of your life, worst hours of your life, some of these encounters that we had on our journey. But I do believe it is the molding process,
yes,
bringing us to this point. And, to God be the glory. I mean, you are, you have been in the classroom as a teacher, and I'm sure you have been seeing, you know, everything that's going on with teachers.
mm-hmm.
I want to throw out this question to you. What was life like in the classroom for you? When you just started versus what life in the classroom is like today.
All right. When I just started, in fact, the school I started at first was a school where I did teaching practice.
Mm.
The vice principal was just impressed with my work as a
Mm.
student teacher, and I was given a job right
Right,
at the end of teaching practice. And
right.
I love teaching. I've always loved teaching. I loved it then, and I still love it now. But I find that with with society changing and the increase in technology and the change in values and all of that, the classroom is a totally different space from
Yeah.
started.
Yeah. Yeah.
Find that parents then were not as defensive as some parents are now. I also find that a lot more is required of teachers. It is just a changing world in so many ways. The face of education is changing, the face of technology is changing. We have younger parents dealing with. In some cases, we have younger teachers. It's just a whole different ball game when you look at all the stakeholders that are involved in
Right.
classroom. So it really is different. I
So
would go
you're
as
saying
far as saying it seems to be more, it is more stressful.
it's more challenging, right? So on that note, what would you say to the teachers who are left in the classroom to deal with no?
Let me begin with my experience. I left Jamaica because after I finished my master's and I realized what my salary was going to be, that there wasn't going to be much of an increase. And when I looked at how much money I had spent studying, I decided to migrate. So that I migrated purely for financial reasons.
Right.
Not to say that the grass was necessarily greener on the other side, but I got exposure and experience that I valued.
Right.
And but as I matured as a professional, I
Right.
realized that there are some things that you need to do for you, because teaching is something that can consume you in such a way that you just never expected. And just last year, I did a workshop in Grand Cayman with some teachers about self-care. And that's the first thing on my list that I'll say to teachers. Self-care is important. In Jamaica, we have a popular saying that empty bag can't stand up.
Yes.
And we also say you can't pour from an empty cup. And I'm
Yeah.
going to say to teachers, healthcare is important. Self-care is important. Sometimes we dropping down, we don't feel good, and we still go to school. We don't even go to the doctor. And sometimes we see some little symptoms, we feel some way, or there is something that could indicate that something may be happening to us physically, emotionally, mentally, and we just ignore it. Some of us don't have anybody that we bellyache on, that we have a catharsis with. We just carry everything, and sometimes you find that you have challenging situations in the home. There are various things, but if you're going to function as a teacher, you have to take care of yourself. That's the first thing. And I would also say to teachers that you have to create strategies. I know what it is to go home with bag and bag and bag of books marking. I have been there. But then I had to learn that there are other ways to assess a child. There are other ways to assess what is happening in the classroom. Every test does not have to be written. You understand? So you develop strategies. You say to yourself, okay, I'm going to take, say, one evening, I'm going to spend an extra 2 hours this evening to catch up on marking or whatever. But you can't be going to school early every morning and leaving late every evening. No, that is recipe for burnout. So create strategies that work for you, that will help you in the classroom. And in addition, I'm giving 3 points. Another one I want to tell you is to choose your battles. Listen, the school can be a serious battlefield. You have in
Wow.
battle with parents, you have in
I
battle
believe
with
you.
co-workers, you have in battle with students, you have in battle with principal, you have in battle with board, battles all over. But
Wow.
choose your battles. Don't try to meet every demand of every parent. Listen, some parents will put demands on you that are not even realistic. And they behave like their child is the only child in the classroom. There are so many variables. But I would say choose your battle. So those are my 3 points. Self-care, choosing
Yeah.
strategies, and choosing your battles.
I absolutely love it. And those who have ears, I think they should hear.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it is very important for you for them to definitely choose their battles, wisely. Um, and I mean, we need to remember that our health is our greatest wealth. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? And all of these teachers who have been dropping dead, we haven't gotten any answers. What really killed them? It's just a hush hush thing. And I'm sure a lot of them ignored the signs, the
Yeah.
symptoms, and then things were festering over time. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe by the time they're ready to go sort themselves out, it's already too late. I
Yeah.
mean, we're seeing children attacking children.
Yes.
Children are not killing each other in
Mm-hmm.
school. So what's gonna be next?
And just,
What's
we saw
yeah.
the child, I think it was at Edwin Allen, who went up to the board and rubbed off what the teacher was writing. So it's a real battlefield. So
It really is. And you know what is funny? I usually say to people, a lot of times, even just straying a little bit, a lot of times, you have these young people in school who are following bad company per se.
mm-hmm.
And every time they take the boosting to
Mm-hmm.
carry out foolishness and they put themselves in trouble,
Yeah.
everybody disappears after that.
Mm-hmm.
The 16-year-old stabbed to death.
Yeah.
All her friends scampered,
Mm-hmm.
scattered. It wasn't as if her friends were around her at the time when she was taking her last breath on the floor. And then it comes back to the title of your book. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't gone fully deep into it yet. Dancing Among Snakes.
Yes.
People need to understand that a snake slithers and
Mm-hmm.
it slithers without sound. So usually when a snake is coming at you, you do not see it, but it sees you.
Mm-hmm.
Most times it sees you and attacks you. You just feel when you get the bite or
Yeah.
the sting. You understand? And next thing you know, you're dead. You're poisoned. Something happens to you. You're
Mm-hmm.
delayed or
Mm-hmm.
you're denied or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So we need to be careful. And I need you to tell people one more time, why should they purchase this book?
Oh,
Why?
I'm gonna share with you some feedbacks. These are some of the reviews that have been written on Amazon. These are some things that people have
Right.
sent me personally,
Right.
about what the book has done for them.
Right.
This person says, I would recommend this book to anyone experiencing a troubling or challenging season in life, as
Right.
we often do.
Right.
This one says, this is such an inspiring account of a woman's journey through life. It is
Wow.
all in our approach to the things we can't control. We can't control what will happen to us. We can only
Yeah.
control how we respond to what
That is right. That
encounter.
is right.
Yes. Another person says, I decided to begin reading it during my devotional time this morning and found it difficult to put it down. It is an excellent source of hope,
Wow.
inspiration, encouragement, and validation. I can identify with so much that was shared. Thank God for giving you the courage and inspiration to share in such a way that readers can see themselves and find guidance and hope for their personal situations. I have a church that is using it as a book study.
Wow.
Yes. So it really offers a lot. And let me read for you a little bit from my introduction. Dancing Among Snakes affirms that there is hope and we can have testimonies of victory despite life's challenges. In this book, I recall bouts of depression, frustration, and long battles with feelings of anger and bitterness. I know what being let down by trusted friends feel like. I have experienced the emotional upheavals associated with unfair treatment. I have questioned how unfair life can be and have at times wondered if I could ever forgive. I faced despair and struggled with regaining trust. At times, I felt like I was suspect of everyone who tried to get close to me. But I also know what it feels like to overcome. And that's why Dancing Among Snakes, experiencing victory in life's toughest moments, is a good read for everyone.
Wow, tell us where to find it. Where can we
Okay.
find the book?
All right. You can get personal copies from me.
Right.
Just send me a DM on my Instagram page, Daphne D. Ellis. It is also available on Amazon as an ebook and as a paperback. I have not yet located stores in Jamaica because I'm just back on island, and I am now being caregiver for my mother, who is terminally, which happened suddenly. So yeah, I'm dancing through that situation, but God is giving me victory. So send me a DM, or you can get the book to buy on Amazon. I have copies. Or contact Jody.
Definitely. I was about to say that it is highly imperative that, you know, we feed our souls, we feed our hearts, we feed our minds with things that can give us strength, things that can, words, stories, relatable stories, testimonies that can help us. You know, too many distractions, so many bad news.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes, not all the time, we need the Netflix. Sometimes we can literally feed our minds in a different way by reading a book. And this is a book that I'm recommending for you guys to go and get. You can hit me up for any details pertaining to the link to Amazon, or if you need the physical copy in your hand, I can give you all the information, or you can just send Daphne Ellis a message here on Instagram, and she will definitely get back to you guys. Guys, I thank you so much for being here with us. I see a lot of you come on, a lot of you jump on, a lot of you come back on. I appreciate you. I will be posting this live on my page for the next 30 days, so you guys can come back to it, rewind, or, you know, get whatever information you want to get from it. Miss Ellis, I thank you so much for doing this with me. It's been a long time coming, and you are amazing. Stay safe, take care of yourself. I'll be praying for you and your mom, your family. I know that, you know, it's unpredictable times, and I also know that that sudden that you're talking about, I know the suddenly that you suddenly have to be working in, you know, but God is with you. He has always been with you. Guys, thank you so much. Be safe out there. Be safe out there.
Thank you, everybody.
Keep love on heart. Yeah. God is good. So, right. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.